There's an old saying that goes, if it looks stupid but works, it's not stupid. When I saw this meme pop up on iFunny, I knew I had to dig deeper. Two of the things being showcased were strictly for decoration, so that left one path which wasn't a dead end. Said path led me here, with this. The Tractor Supply Warhammer. A head which weighs 2.5 pounds. Drop forged and heat treated 1055 steel. Hardened tips to pierce and crush, with the rest being soft to absorb blows. 30 inches of handle for leverage. Protective langets. At first glance, this hammer doesn't seem like a joke despite being the butt of one. I approached this item with skepticism, but then I started to relate to it, somehow. Something that doesn't have the reputation it desires, but is ready to go get it. But is the hammer really up to the task? Can it stand stalwart like a masterfully crafted weapon of old, or will it creak and then croak like my piece of shit Chinese knockoff gaming chair that came with screws which didn't even fit in their allotted holes? Right off the bat, or hammer, I can say that the price was a pretty good deal. Metal is expensive, and the ability to have fun or protect yourself is priceless, even if your method of doing so is old-fashioned and potentially indicative of red flags. If durability and lethality are of no concern, you need not watch the rest of this video, although I would appreciate it if you did. Go ahead and buy one of these if you want it, since I can definitely say that they're fun if they aren't much else. Hell, the assembly it requires adds to the experience. But what about those who are curious to see if this can be an actual tool? Well, that's what this is for. Fun fact, the coconut is the closest naturally occurring comparison to a skull, besides other skulls, of course. Before I move on, I have a few words. First, the coconuts made a disturbing yet also satisfying noise upon being struck. Considering the skull thing I mentioned, is that a red flag? Second, this thing feels pretty great to wield. I'm not exactly well versed in the use of medieval weaponry, but this feels about right for what I assume is a good weapon that they would have used back in the day. Heavy enough to hit hard, but not incredibly cumbersome. You can definitely feel it due to physics, but that just lets you know it's working. Now, I know there's a chance that someone in the comments will say that 2.5 pounds is for pussies and that I should quote-unquote use a real hammer. Well, it just so happens that I have these to pit the Warhammer against this here 8-pound maul. To the people I mentioned, the Warhammer's head being lighter is by design, as it's supposed to be more efficient to wield. The maul's weight gives it more energy to smash with on paper, but makes it impractical and potentially dangerous to yourself in a real combat scenario. Being heavier makes your weapon more of a chore to manipulate and carry. Anyways, the point of what I'm doing is to see how much energy the lower weight trades for usability. For the sake of consistency, I will not be using the sharp sides of either item, we'll be using a similar vertical swing, and we'll be trying to use all of my strength for every strike. Oh wait, can't forget safety squints. Splinters are no joke. You remember that one episode of SpongeBob? I don't want that shit in my eyes. Looks pretty identical to me. Granted, this was some backwoods as fuck science that doesn't account for going against harder materials, but I think the principle of the matter is still there. You know what? Screw this science. I have a fucking Warhammer. Let's fuck something up.
Never should have come here.
While the flaming hammer didn't ignite the flower as I had hoped, it did ignite a fire in my loins. That, my friends, is why I made this video, to ignite a flame of passion within those of you out there who are like me. We love stupid shit like this. I mean, come on. A Warhammer from Tractor Supply? A $70 hentai game? That just screams, oh, I gotta see this. Now that we have seen this thing in action, it has kinda grown on me. Customization time. Now all that's left is to think of a name and get something to display it on neatly. So, what is the final message here? I thought I made myself clear with the golfing bit, but I'll say it again. This thing is fun as hell. I absolutely recommend one if my free advertising has done its job. Just remember that you should be careful when you're messing around, and don't be that guy who just wants to kill someone with it, please. By all means, use it for defense since it can definitely handle that, but you may want to seek help if you find yourself stroking the handle.